Asian and whites say they've experienced racism at a greater rate than black people and colored people in this country, which I found very, very interesting. So we always, common sense would say black people will experience the most racism. But according to the survey here, Asians, i.e., Indians and I suppose Mandarin people, and whites say they've experienced far more racism than black Africans. Why? That is strange. Well, maybe not strange. Why do you think
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah. So I think, yeah. So why does common sense suggest that? I think common sense suggests that black people should experience more racism, in part because of an anachronistic mistake. People kind of forget that this is not 1980. In part because it just is the case that misery and suffering is not equally distributed across races. A greater proportion of black people are unemployed, or living under the poverty line, and so on and so forth. And one of the most magnificent achievements of, you can call it critical race theory, or you can call it National Democratic Revolution, or whatever, is to convince people, not privately, but in terms of how they speak in public, that racism is the only problem. So if someone's not experiencing racism, then they can't be experiencing problems. So a lot of my woke friends look at that table and they think, well, yes, this thing is trying to tell me that black people have less problems than everyone else. Someone actually said that to me in 2019 when we asked the same question and got the same result. And I was like, this is an amazing demonstration of what a fool you are, right? Black people, a lot of black people are experiencing a lot of major, major problems. Race is not the problem. The problem is crime. The problem is like not just load shedding, but load reduction because your neighbor didn't pay their electricity. So then the whole suburb gets turned off for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Transport is a nightmare to get anywhere that there's a job, and so on and so forth. There are major problems. Why do white people experience racism more? I think, and Asians too, and colored people to some extent, although it's sort of
much lower.
I think that is because the experience of racism. What is racism? Racism is the judgment of another person in a harmful way based on their race. I think that's a workable definition. Some people might put another inflection on it, but that's a workable definition. The point is that it's a public expression. It's a public thing. It's something that you can see, right? And what people do in public, this has been the whole underlying thesis of my Two South Africa's story. What people do in public is in part determined by what they believe and what they feel, but it's largely determined by what kind of response they think they're going to get. So privately, I think this and that, but I'm not going to say it out loud because I'm worried that someone's going to shout at me. Someone's going to diss me, insult me, so on and so forth. So if you've got a community where publicly you get rewarded for saying racist crap against white people, then you're going to expect more people to say racist crap against white people. And if you're going to expect a lot of punishment if you say racist crap against black people, then you're going to expect very few people to do that.